Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. If this is your first time visiting my channel, be sure to subscribe. I update, and upload daily sports talk videos. You'll get them delivered right to your inbox. And you can always catch me on Twitter as well, at @SNewsAnalysis. I do some game recaps, game previews, and I also like to do some opinion stuff. And today I thought I'd tackle the possibility of Chip Kelly going to Cleveland to coach the Browns, and why I particularly don't think that this team is a good fit for Chip Kelly. And I'll basically run through 4 reasons why I feel that way. First and foremost is the personnel and roster that Cleveland has in place. And I think when Kelly's going to come in and run the type of up-tempo, fast-break offense, as they call it, to have a guy like Brandon Weeden at quarterback, that's not a fit right away. Brandon Weeden has even been quoted as saying he knows he can't run an offense like that. So what happens then? Do they try to move Weeden and maybe try to put Colt McCoy in to run the offense? Do they go outside the organization and try to get a free agent? I think to maybe draft a quarterback to play that offense is probably not going to happen either, based on the guys that are coming out in the draft. So where do they go from there? The thing with Chip Kelly's offense is, and the reason why it works so good at Oregon, is he's had time to recruit players to fit that system specifically. And going to Cleveland with the professional team, right now that roster is not in place. Maybe Trent Richardson even is more of a traditional power eye kind of back. I think he could definitely play in the Chip Kelly offense if it came to it, because I think he has that kind of stamina, can catch the ball out of the backfield, is in tremendous shape. But even that offense is not using Trent Richardson's talents, and they spent the 3rd overall pick on Trent Richardson, and I think Trent Richardson can be in that class below Adrian Peterson eventually as one of the best running backs in the league. So you're basically taking your 2 number 1 draft picks from last year and not really basing your team around their strengths. And I think that would be a mistake. The second reason why I think Chip Kelly would not be a fit with the Browns is the weather in Cleveland. And I don't think this is something that's being brought up enough, but I know the weather in Oregon can be dreary and rainy at times. But a couple things. The college season is all but over by Thanksgiving. There might be a game that lingers into the first week of December, a conference championship game. But the college season is pretty much over in November. Cold weather, snowy weather does not really affect the college season usually too much, if at all, because of how early it ends. If you're bringing this offense to Cleveland in the cold weather, the different variables that this offense runs with the different pitches and the different quick passes and the up-tempo, I guess I look for it to be more possible for mistakes to happen in this climate in Cleveland. And it's just a puzzling fit from that perspective as well. I've personally never seen this kind of offense. No one runs it like Oregon. But I'm trying to think of a team I know that runs this fast pace of an offense in a cold weather climate. No one in the NFL does it. And I can't think of anyone else in college that runs this offense like Oregon and does so in a cold climate. So from that perspective, I think the decision is puzzling as well. Also, I have to think that the owner is behind this decision to interview Chip Kelly, because Joe Banner is a tried and true NFL personnel guy, and had great success building the Eagles with Andy Reid, and I can't think that he wants to have a coach be the bigger story than him. And by making a splash hire like Chip Kelly, I can't think that an NFL tried and true personnel guy would take this big risk on this innovative, fast-break offense mind who has no experience in the NFL. That if it was up to Banner, he would get a more experienced NFL mind. But you know what? Joe Banner didn't spend $1 billion to buy the Browns. Okay, Jimmy Haslam did. And to be honest, the way I feel about it, if Jimmy Haslam wants to be in control and make Chip Kelly his coach, he's certainly within his rights to do that. Do I think it's best for the organization going forward? Obviously not. That's why I'm making this video here. Whether it's the personnel that I mentioned, issues, the weather issues, Joe Banner being a guy that I'm sure Jimmy Haslam is paying a lot of money. Why not let him make this decision? And I think if it was completely up to Banner, I don't think he would even consider Chip Kelly. These guys, these kinds of coaches, if you look at the college coaches that have come to the pros and had success, Let's take Harbaugh and Pete Carroll. Harbaugh ran a pro-style offense. He played in pro-style offenses in professional football. He ran pro-style offense at Stanford, and he continues to adapt his offense with the 49ers. And, there was no real having to change his philosophy. Then you have Pete Carroll, who's more of a defensive guy. He goes up to Seattle. He now has Darrell Bevell as his offensive coordinator. Lets Bevell handle that side of the ball. Russell Wilson's had some success, and they're off and running. The only real sort of gimmick college, I don't want to say gimmick, because the offense that Kelly runs is awesome. I love watching it. I don't want to say gimmick, but the only innovative offensive mind that I can remember coming from the college ranks in recent time, and I could be missing someone, but I think is Steve Spurrier, and we know how that ended up. And I don't know if Chip Kelly's an all-around football guy or just an offensive guy. I think that was Spurrier's problem, and I think that's a lot of NFL coaches' problems, is they come in as a glorified offense or defensive coordinator and try to be a head coach. So there's just, in my mind, not enough success with these kinds of guys to really invest this much in a guy like Chip Kelly. The last reason I don't think he's a good fit for the Browns, and I don't know if he's a good fit for any NFL team from this perspective. I think if Chip Kelly is going to have success with an NFL team, it has to be a super young team that's hungry with something to prove. Because to play in Chip Kelly's offense, I think another thing people are underestimating is the kind of physical shape you need to be in and stamina that you need to have. Not that NFL players are not in shape. I'm not trying to say that. But they're not used to running this up-tempo style that Kelly wants to play. And I think to get a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year NFL veteran to buy a college coach's message of playing this up-tempo and having to work so hard in the offseason to get their bodies in tip-top stamina and shape to play in it, I think might be an uphill battle for Kelly unless he can get a very young team that is hungry. And I don't think the Browns fit that because I don't like the personnel fit with the Browns. I'm really caught up on that. You have to revamp your entire roster around a coach that's unproven. And I don't know if that's something that when the owner thinks about it, he really wants to do. And I can't think that Banner is behind possibly hiring Chip Kelly at all. But those are those 4 reasons why I don't think that the Browns in particular should hire Chip Kelly, whether it be the personnel, the weather, letting Joe Banner make the decision on his own, and then lastly, the fact that Chip's going to want these guys in tip-top stamina shape and grinding them in the offseason to get that way. Would NFL veterans be willing to do that? But Cleveland Brown fans, or even if you're just a fan of a team looking for a coach, Cardinals, Eagles, Bills, Bears, would you want Chip Kelly to be your coach? Hit me up in the comments and let me know. And also, you can definitely hit me on Twitter at SNewsAnalysis as well. Thanks, guys, for listening. And again, subscribe because I'm always uploading sports talk videos here to my YouTube channel. Have a good night.